Right, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
I'm just going to sip this tea first.
Ready.
Well done. Okay, I'm just trying not to. I'm trying to take the. So once again, the tea bag hasn't got a thingy on it.
Oh my god, no!
And now I'm trying not to burn my fingers while I get it out. Although I have got a pair of tongs.
That's very dangerous. We don't. Do. No, in Germany, that's not allowed.
It's not allowed. Yeah. Anyway, I'll worry about that in a minute. Right then, ready?
Yep.
Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
This is Hollywood Outlaws, Episode 5, for December 9th, 2018, Mama's Boy.
Hello and welcome to Episode 5 of Hollywood Outlaws. My name is Dan and I'm talking to you from Liverpool in the UK.
Hello, I'm Fab and I'm in Hamburg. That is in Germany.
You're a hamburger.
I'm a hamburger. I don't know why that is. I've never understood that, to be honest.
Is not hamburgers not come from Hamburg? No,
I don't think. No, the thing in Hamburg is Fischbrötchen, which is like a roll with fish in it. So it's I don't. That's the typical.
Well,
Hamburg
do Frankfurters come from Frankfurt at least?
They do.
Oh, okay. So we're getting somewhere.
Although, funny thing in Germany, the more famous bratwurst. Is from Thüringen, Thuringia. That's the actual famous one here. Not the Frankfurt is kind of like not really.
Well, Frankfurt is what they use in hot dogs in America and so on, isn't it?
Yeah,
often.
Oh, they've got good hot dogs over there. I got to tell you that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even in New York. I was just in New York.
That's high praise indeed. If a German is complimenting your sausage, that is high praise indeed.
Seriously, there. I was 6 days over there, and I gained about 5 kilos.
Wow. That's the American diet for you.
Anyway, before we get into the show, we have to have a little meta discussion, just so people are not confused. We're recording this right after the other show.
Yes.
Episode 4.
4, yeah.
And I am about a quarter through a bottle of Jim Beam. So just so you know, this is why I'm...
This is going to get interesting.
Slightly drunk.
Yeah, I'm not drinking it tonight. Well, I am drinking, but I'm drinking lemon and ginger tea at the moment.
But it's just a tea bag. It doesn't have
but I have
anything to take it out. It's dangerous.
Just for the benefit of the audio, I'll do this. That's a pair of tongs that I have.
Oh, okay. I thought that was your Zippo again.
Yeah, that's my Zippo again. No, I don't use my Zippo to get tea bags out of tea. That would probably not work so well. I know it's a bit of an odd one, but yeah.
So you have special tongs to take
they're not particularly special ones. They're just ordinary ones. Yeah.
Are they for the barbecue or just?
No, they're not massive ones. They're not like.
Well, are they for sugar cubes?
Yeah, basically, that kind of size.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's worked anyway. So I'm on not honey and lemon, ginger and lemon tea because my throat's a bit sore at the moment. But I'll be fine.
It was 2 weeks ago when that other episode came
out. When we did.
You should really get that looked at.
Probably should, probably should.
I can't say I've been drunk for
You've
2
been drinking
weeks.
for 2 weeks. Yeah, you need to get that looked at as well. So welcome to another episode. We don't need to explain what the show is. Hopefully, we didn't do it on the last show, but
It's about power drills.
yeah, it's about Bosch. Yeah, the TV show which you can find on Amazon and other places. I don't know if it's ever been shown on a network. Actually, maybe I haven't looked.
I don't think over here.
No, well, Amazon has started selling things to original shows to other networks. I think, well, to TV networks.
So we are all about Robert Bosch GmbH, or Bosch, is a world-leading multinational engineering and electronics company headquartered in Gerlingen near Stuttgart, Germany.
Us, yeah.
The company was founded by Robert Bosch in Stuttgart in 1886. Yeah.
1886. Wow.
Yeah. No, we're not about that. We're about that detective. Anyway.
Harry Hieronymus Bosch. We're not also not about the Dutch paint. Was he Dutch? Dutch painter or whatever it is. Hieronymus Bosch.
Yeah.
Even though the character's named the same, which I think must be deliberate.
This is really confusing.
Anyway, let's stop confusing everyone. Yeah, so we're going to talk about episode 5 of the TV show Bosch, series 1, episode 5. And if you've followed up,
Mama's Boy.
yeah, and if you've followed the other episodes of this podcast and so on, you'll know that where we're up to. If you haven't, then I suggest you listen to those before you continuing to listen to this.
Yep.
Because otherwise, this isn't going to make a lot of sense, and you're jumping ahead in the story.
There's lots of in-jokes about Crate and Barrel.
There will be lots of in-jokes about Crate and Barrel and
blue balls.
And blue balls and shots fired and other such things. Yeah, so are we good? Should we start off then? Should we get straight into it?
Let's get right into it. So we've got the LAPD out in force, choppers and everything.
Yeah, so you starts off with a shot of a helicopter, obviously doing a sweep of the city.
Did you notice how they call them airships?
Do they?
Whenever they on
Really?
the radio, when in the last episode when Crate got shot,
Right.
Edgar was on the radio. We need an airship. We need an airship.
All right.
Yeah.
So which they dispatch like a Zeppelin or something. And
Yeah,
it's on the way.
So like a steampunk
It's on the
thing,
way.
Yeah.
And like a Zeppelin comes
We
over.
need-
Well, that's what I
We
think
need
of
to
as an airship.
we need more helium.
Yeah, that's what I think of as an airship, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's like radio code, like LAPD.
I know they call them gunships sometimes. Like heavily armored helicopters and stuff.
but
They call
I
them
don't think
gunships, but I've never heard them
These
called
have
airships.
Gatling guns on them.
Yeah.
That's so it's in later episodes as well. Bosch on the radio calls for an airship.
And once again, a Zeppelin turns up. And he's like, I said an airship.
It's like steampunk.
But sir, that is an airship.
It's like the Goodyear blimp.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's really slow. It's really hard to catch the suspect.
Yeah, I was going to say you wouldn't get very far with one of them.
It's really energy efficient though. Like it's good for the
Well,
planet.
also
It's
Bosch
really
likes to
green technology.
smoke as well, doesn't he? So he'd have to be careful around the. He'd have to be careful around the explosive gases.
Oh
that they
no,
had in
not the fucking Hindenburg.
We don't want a
again.
Hindenburg. Nobody wants a repeat of the Hindenburg as Bosch tries to put a cigarette out in it or something.
You don't want a repeat of that explosion of the airship in the Fillmore district last
Yeah,
year.
exactly. Damn it, Harry. That's the film. I don't know. Anyway, I'm lost now.
That's an airship.
That's an airship. Damn it, Harry. That's the mayor's airship. So we've gone way off the piece there already. So yeah, they're on the manhunt. Basically, the manhunt is underway for Reynard Waite, who's the escaped suspect. And I put down
The dragnet is out.
The dragnet, yeah. So they cut quite quickly to Bosch doing the kind of briefing.
Yeah,
and I put
coordinating everything.
Yeah, so I put down Bosch is doing his full doghouse, henhouse, outhouse, shithouse, Tommy Lee Jones impression from The Fugitive as he briefs the troops.
I was thinking of Leah Organa, in Star Wars.
Yeah, true. But there's that famous scene of Tommy Lee Jones where he's like, I want to search every outhouse, henhouse, doghouse, shithouse.
Right, yeah.
For his The Fugitive, Harrison Ford.
It's like, if you're going to call, I want it on the map. Put it on the map.
He says that.
You got
He
a
says,
hotspot.
let's find hotspots, and let's find, yeah. He goes on a lot about that. He says, yeah, we're looking for hotspots and clusters or something. He says, and he asks them to put the calls on the map. He says, if you get a report of a man with a bandage on his face or something, put it on the map.
My God, there must be a lot of people. Like, based for my 1 or 2 days experience of Hollywood, there's a lot of people with band-aids on their face.
Yeah, you would imagine that, wouldn't you? So, so they're doing all that. He then goes to talk to Edgar, and I don't know the woman's name in this.
I noticed this. This is my third watch of that episode, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like my third watch through. And he says, anything Kiz. And she is Kisman Ryder.
Oh, okay.
In the books, in the books later they go to 3 groups of 3 for partners.
Okay.
And so she becomes a third partner with Edgar.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So she's in the books. She's like really good with computers.
Okay.
Like she comes in from the financial crimes unit or something, and she's like whenever Bosch is like, the cloud, what's a drive?
Oh, yeah,
what do you mean a USB? She's like the one to help him. I thought that interesting that they put her in that early on the show. So basically they're looking. Weights disappeared in that abandoned factory. We talked about that last time,
That's
down
right,
in East LA.
yeah.
And she's like, yeah, well, he's like, are there any cameras? Do we have any trace of him? She's like, nah, there's not many cameras. Bangers see to that.
See to that in that area.
That's
Yeah.
gangbangers.
Yeah.
So they're then looking at the factory and basically looking at what it's been used for in the past, and there's some insulation stuff. And then Bosch goes like, well, he was talking, we need that video of him in the car because he was talking about like asbestos or something, and so it looks like his dad really worked in that factory, and that's where he knows it from, right?
Yeah, basically that's what he says. Home insulation. That's how he knew the building, or something. He says.
So and we know Waits has this car which he put in his lockup, but they say like he abandoned the pickup in Lincoln Heights.
That's right.
And then Bosch guesses he hijacked another car there.
Yeah.
Which must be, because hearing that, I then thought back, and the car he just put in the lockup isn't the pickup.
It's not the one that he. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So I guess he stole another car.
Yeah, and then Mank arrives in his civvies, pretty clearly from
Major
home.
Mank in his civvies.
Yeah.
He looks completely weird.
From home, obviously come in to help, and Harry tells him that Waite's got Crate's badge and gun, to which they all like, oh shit, and he says Pounds is gonna shit blood.
And Harry's like, never mind about Pounds.
Yeah,
don't worry about Pounds.
Yeah, so they've got a problem seriously because the guy's using Manx. Sorry, not Manx. My guy can use. He's trying to use Crate's badge to help him. Basically.
Guys, I got news for you. You can buy like a really good-looking replica LAPD badge off eBay. Like you don't need. I've got one right here. I'm holding it in my hand. Like ID number 840 LAPD. You don't need to.
I'm imagining that's not going to stand up to much scrutiny, though. That badge.
It looks like I've done some actual research. No, it's actually metal.
Oh, fair enough.
And it looks. The only thing I can tell that's different on the original badges, although I didn't meet an LAPD guy in LA, or I would have checked. But apparently, like on the real one, so there's like a detective, whatever. There's the courthouse, which is very that's very California. San Diego has a courthouse like this as well. And then there's the city crest, and apparently on the real one, the city crest, like is like very small, and all the little things are colored. And on this one, it isn't colored.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I guess I could still,
Yeah.
It would work in most cases. You just go. So there's actually a book where Harry is on. He gets suspended because in the we get to that later. But there's a point where he throws Pounds through a glass thing, and in the books he gets on involuntary stress leave. But he's
involuntary stress leave.
Yeah, involuntary stress leave. Yeah, not voluntary. Sense. No, he's like he needs to go to a shrink and whatever, and he's like still investigating this case. So he steals Pound's badge,
right?
And he'll just like because Pound says like lieutenant or whatever,
Oh,
he
yeah.
just always puts his hand over there where it says detective, and he keeps using his badge to just go in everywhere, even though he's like suspended. He's like, oh, I need to go in here like a LAPD.
Well, if you
That's
can
just
buy
the
one of
badge.
those badges, that sounds like a really good idea because
Well,
if they just let you
Bosch
in
doesn't-
when you flash the badge and you don't even read it, and
Yeah, I've tried that in Hamburg as well. It's like
yeah.
LAPD. It's
In
a
Hamburg,
crime
that's less
scene.
likely to work. Let's be honest, because they'll be like, "What would you be doing here? You're out of your jurisdiction, or something." Yeah. So where are we up to then? We're up to so
Sorry,
that's the opening bit, basically, isn't it?
sidetracked.
Yeah. And then I put cuts to Creepy Waits. I'm calling him Creepy Waits from now on because he's very creepy. Patching
Waits, yeah.
himself up, basically, and using makeup
He
to
is-
cover his eye,
right.
his bruises and stuff.
But basically, what he does, and this is really weird and really creepy. So he uses a paintbrush, and
Yeah.
he's got like it looks like a lipstick. It's like a touch-up makeup.
It's a concealer. I
stick.
believe it's what
Yeah.
they call a concealer.
Why do you know that?
Why wouldn't I know that? I'm an enlightened, I'm woke, bro. You know, I understand these things.
So he uses like a paintbrush to he's really good as well. Like he really, and you're like, what the fuck? Why is he doing that? And then we get the amazing intro sequence.
Yeah, because he's making himself look, normal, should we say, or more normal.
So he's got a broken nose and a black eye. And
Yeah,
he's-
from hitting the floor. And then
over that.
we get the titles, and then we're back in Irving's office, who's on the phone to the chief, apparently. And he says, will that be all, Chief? He's basically not doing anything, but he says, will that be all, Chief? It's a bit hectic on this end. And he's not really doing anything. And then the chief goes, yes, very good, have a good one, whatever, and hangs up. And then he goes, asshole.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's the worst side of ever. He says, have a better one.
Yeah, that's
Like Irvin
shit
doesn't
greeting.
say anything, and he says, have a better one.
Yeah, it's a kind of a bad.
Weird.
Yeah, but then he says
Yeah.
asshole right
Yeah,
after he hangs
asshole.
up. He's like asshole.
Asshole.
Yeah. So he's not happy with him, obviously.
Meanwhile, so this scene is interesting. So they want to make it look like, so he's parked his car in this garage, right? Which looks like in a residential area, and it looks like now he's got makeup on his face, and it looks like he's stalking this old lady.
Yes, yeah, it does. As he walks up behind her and all that.
But really, she's his mom. Right? Spoilers for the episode we're talking about.
Not really spoilers,
she's his-
because that's the same scene where he kind of
yeah,
calls her mother and all that.
but it's like really creepy music. He walks up to her and then he puts his hand around her, and she's like, "Mom," and she's like, "Oh," and so she's his mom. But he was like really creepily stalking her anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit weird,
You know?
isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit weird. Well, he is
And we
weird.
figure
He's
out-
horrible and creepy and weird.
He is creepy,
Yeah.
and we figure out his real name's David.
Yeah, she calls him David. Yeah, that's right.
And he says like, "Oh, how was your trip?" He apparently was on a trip, and he's like,
He told her he
"Oh."
was on a trip, didn't he? I presume. Well, that links back to the bit where you said about
In
him using
prison.
the phone in the prison. He might have run his mother to say he was on a trip.
That's the thing. So in the prison, when he gets the phone call, he says, "I need to ring my mother."
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And the other hard ass prison guy's like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, thinks he's joking. Yeah.
He actually might have rung.
No,
his
he
mother.
might. I think they're intimating. Or what I took
Yeah.
from that was he probably did call her and tell her he was on a trip
call
and he
her,
wouldn't
yeah.
be home for a few days, which meant he was
And
also
then-
thought he was going to get out possibly as well.
Right. Exactly, because he had this all like figured
He had the
out,
plan,
which is kind of weird. Because when he's with the lawyer, he's like really distraught. When he hits the glass,
Yes, yeah, you're right.
he's really distraught. But yeah, so another point. So he then says, "Oh, I thought about spending like the holidays. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
We've established that. Spending holidays with you." And she's obviously really happy. And then they speak French.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, very badly. I did 4 years of French in school, and I'm really bad. But I can tell they're Americans.
Yeah, no, it's not
The
great.
accent
Yeah,
is horrible.
it's not great.
But so the thing is, like Renard, the fox,
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
true,
a
actually,
French.
yeah, my
there's a
point.
French connection going on.
Oh,
Obviously.
French connection, Popeye Doyle. Anyway, sorry. Gene Hackman comes in, and then they go on a mad car chase. That's the French connection. I did I put down
The
he does
original or
seem
the
to.
remake.
I put down that he clearly seems to be very worried about his mother. He seems to genuinely be worried about her, and she goes on about the fact that her lupus medication needs.
Yeah.
Refilling. He says, "I'll take care of it."
To which house
and then I
comes
cut to
in.
house. It's never lupus. yeah, that's what I was.
It's not lupus.
Yeah, it's never lupus. And that's kind of the end of that scene. Basically, you find out from that he manages her. He sorts out her medication for her and stuff, which more of in a bit. And then we cut to Crate, who's still unconscious.
I would have loved for House to come in at this point. No.
Yeah, that's why I actually wrote in my notes, cut to House, and I put, it's never lupus. So, yeah, that would
Also,
have been
like, his mom, like, he seems really nice around here. He makes, like, dinner.
good. Yeah.
But she seems like she's not doing well. She's, like, nearly blind and whatever.
Yeah, and he's
those
still a
big
bit
glasses.
creepy, like, even though,
He is creepy,
Even
though,
when he's
yeah,
being
but-
overly nice, it's a bit weird. But then I suppose that's maybe because we already know other stuff about him that she maybe doesn't know.
I think it's his beard.
He's big.
I think it's mostly he has like this creepy. He's
got a creepy beard.
which I noticed for the first time when he was using the makeup. He's got like this. It's like this. It's like he has like this beard where it's not like he obviously can't grow a full beard, but it's like it's a good length beard. Like it's like 10 days worth of beard.
Yeah,
but it's not a full
It's a reasonable
beard,
amount
it's
of
like-
beard.
But it's not a like okay. It's if you were a normal person, right, and you were trying to grow a full beard, and you had his amount of beard, you'd shave it off because you're like, obviously, I can't grow a full beard.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have filled out very well, does it? The beard.
Yeah, but he still yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it is true. So
I have this whole theory how you can evaluate suspects based
by
on
the beard, you're a beardologist.
their grooming techniques.
Well, we need some. You should do a series where like you're the beardologist, where you know
I should
it's about a
consult with
detective,
the Hamburg
detective
police
who
department.
judges. Like, get the beardologist in here, or the beardographer, and you can go in and do
Something
that.
wrong with his beard. dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So-
next morning,
We're back at the
No,
hospital. Crates
Hospital, yeah.
in hospital bed. He's unconscious.
oh, so cute,
Barrel is waiting by his side as usual.
so cute. He's like
Yeah,
a dog.
he's like
sleeping.
He's also asleep when Bosch arrives, and then Harry wakes him up and then tells him to go home and get some sleep, and he'll take over. And Barrel is really worried about, obviously, really worried about Crate. He says he's a tough one or something. He says,
It's so cute. It's
yeah, they've got a really nice relationship. Excuse me
Yeah.
while I just cough on the mic. Hold on.
Well, I've been like,
Right, there we go.
I've been all over the place.
Right. Hang on, I'll have a sip of this tea. That'll help. So Harry decides to take over. Basically, he takes over watching him.
I think I'm committed to killing this bottle of Jim Beam, so don't mind me.
Oh, right, okay. So then we cut to the exterior of the hospital, where Bosch walks out the doors, and there's Irv doing his classic move, which is lowering the window as looking moody as someone walks up in his ridiculously big car.
He's good at that.
That's his
like
move. That does appear to be his move.
Ford. Is that Ford SUV?
Oh, I don't know. It's a big thing. It could be a GM or GMC or
No,
whatever.
I think it's from like 24 used to do it. Like
Oh, right, okay.
what's that? Anyway, yeah.
It's a Ford of some sort, possibly. So anyway, he tells Bosch that he's going to put Pounds in charge of leading the team to the task force to find the fugitive. Which Bosch says, "Do you actually want to catch this guy or not?" And then he says, "You're feeding me to the wolves, boss." And then Irv tells him to solve his case and prove that O'Shea was an idiot to believe Waits in the first place, basically. So he tells him he's putting Pounds in charge, which nobody likes. Which everybody is not very happy with. And basically, Bosch feels he's been kind of... Well, you get the fact that Bosch feels he's been kind of pushed out in front of the firing squad or whatever to take the blame. Yeah. So are you still looking up that car, or should we move on?
Yeah, I'm still looking up this car.
Okay.
I wonder whether is there like a federal.
I don't know.
It's on my tongue. I hate this kind of shit when I know. Anyway, just go on.
All right, okay. I was going to
to
start looking as well, but I don't really know what I'm looking for.
No, I'll just.
You keep
research
looking
this
while
car.
I go on.
Yeah.
And then, we're back at the station where Mank says he wants to have another word with Bosch, which seems to be happening a lot lately.
He's in uniform though.
Yeah,
right?
and he's in his little office where he sits with the glass.
Oh yeah, he's
thing.
just like, give me the room. I love that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. To which he calls him in, and they see that Irving on the TV above them. Irv is doing
the press conference. Yeah.
And then Mank repeats Bosch's concern. Why is he putting Pounds in charge? Doesn't he want to catch this guy? About the task force.
Yeah, this is so basically when Irving tells Bosch, I think this was in the last episode, right? When Irving tells Bosch that he's putting Pounds in charge of the task force, Bosch goes like,
It's in this episode. It's in the scene I just mentioned where he tells him outside in the car that you're looking for.
oh, so that was before.
That was
yeah,
right.
and-
It's like one
right,
scene
sorry.
before. And then Bosch
Yeah,
says, "Don't you want to catch this guy?" Oh, he says, "Do you want to
This
catch
is the
this
problem
guy?"
when I watched 2 episodes on the
Yeah. No,
Sunday,
it was in this episode. Yeah. And then,
I got the fucking car. Don't mind the car anyway.
Okay, and then they keep repeating. Basically, everybody he tells repeats the same thing, which is, "Doesn't he want to
Meg's
catch
like,
this
doesn't
guy?"
you want to catch the guy? Yeah.
Well, that's what Bosch says to him as well.
So everybody thinks Pounds is an idiot.
I was just going to say they're making out that Pounds is really crap at his job, which is interesting. And then Mank says to Bosch that Mrs. Waters is waiting in the lieutenant's office to speak to him. He says, "I stashed her in there." So then Bosch goes through to the lieutenant's office, and he finds...
So she's
the mother
of
boy.
Arthur Delacroix.
Yeah, of Arthur Delacroix, yeah. She's now called Mrs. Waters. And she's waiting for him because she says she also wants to have a word with him. Apparently everybody wants to have a word with Bosch at the moment. And she asks Bosch if he believes that Waits has killed her son or not. Bosch basically says he doesn't. He intimates that he doesn't believe Waits. And then she responds, "You suspect their father. You suspect their father." And Bosch doesn't really say. Weirdly, Bosch is very sympathetic to her. I put down, Bosch is sympathetic to Mrs. Waters in a way that Edgar isn't. And he tells her that it must have been hard to do what she did. And then she says she abandoned her kids, which she did. And then he says it's not too late. You could go and see your daughter. And he keeps being really nice to her, whereas everybody else seems to hate her.
Yeah, he has...
He has mother
through
issues.
Through the thing with his mother. Mm-hmm. I think he kind of connects to her.
Yeah, maybe.
In a weird way.
Yeah, you could be right. So she just basically wanted to find out if he believed that this Waits was the killer or not, and he says he doesn't.
Well, she says he confessed, but he's basically like, we got these nutters
You get this
every
quite
day.
a lot, yeah.
It's Hollywood, like these nutters confess. Just,
Yeah.
They're
Meanwhile, back to creepy Waits, who's at the house with his mother, and he's, I put in quotes, doing her pills, because that's what she says. "Are you doing my pills?"
Well, yeah, she's obviously like, I don't know what is. She's like senile, a bit, right?
Possibly. Well, he plans out the things for her, the pills for each day, and she says she got confused or something else, and she doesn't know which pills to take. She says she's in pain or something, and he says, well, the triangle ones are for pain and whatever it is, and vice versa.
Dizziness or whatever.
Yeah, and dizziness, and the other ones are for pain or something.
But key point, she can't find her glasses.
Yeah, that is a key point. Yeah, which will become important later. Well, kind of become important later. So she can't find her glasses. She can't really see properly. So she can't see the television. She can't see what's going on.
Well, that's in a further scene.
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah.
So that's later on. But he's finding out her. He's sorting out her pills and stuff.
Right.
And he says he's got to go out, and she's very unhappy that he's going to go out. And he says he has to do stuff for work or something. Which is obviously
she's very protective of him.
Yeah,
I feel like.
true. That is true. Yeah. So, and then we're on to.
She also doesn't look like his mom. Like,
Really? You don't think?
they don't look alike at all.
Well,
but
maybe.
yeah, TV shows.
Yeah,
Anyway.
true. So
We
we're
got,
back in the car with Edgar and
Yeah.
Harry and Edgar.
Bosch, so they're driving. So they're now going to visit the dad.
Yeah,
which
the one they
didn't
were
do
hitting golf balls at last time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So Edgar says like, wait, he's going on about Wade's confessed, right? And he says like Wade's confession, and Bosch goes like, that was him gaming the system.
Yeah.
Worked.
It worked. Yeah.
But then Bosch says, but I always try to keep an open mind about suspects and witnesses. So this is the whole look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Bosch.
you've got to be suspicious, haven't you? I mean, I think it's
Right.
healthy to be not assume that the obvious answer is always the right one.
If you're a detective or a journalist.
Anybody who does some kind of investigation of any kind. He does say again that he thinks it was the father who they're on their way to see.
Right.
Bosch says again that he thinks it's the father. He says
based on he didn't report the
he didn't
missing
report
kid.
it. Yeah. So they go to a trailer park to see the dude.
It's really shitty like trailer park boys kind of trailer park, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's obviously an alcoholic. They come in there. He's like drinking from a can. Like it's early in the morning, obviously. Yeah, he has a cat. It's a real.
He has a cat. Yeah, he has a cat, which is confirmation that he must be an alcoholic.
He's like a cat lady. Just
he's only got one
a
cat,
guy.
so there is that. He's a cat guy. Yeah.
called Buddy. The cat's
Called Buddy. Yeah, well, we get to that in a minute. So anyway, they sit down with him, and they show him some pictures of Arthur, of his son Arthur, obviously when he was young, with other kids. And you can see, like in the trailer, there's like headshots from his acting days.
Yeah, this is very prominently behind him. Is the
I put
headshot.
down his glory days. I put that in quotes because he didn't really have any glory by the sound of it. As a younger actor, when he was trying to make it.
Well,
as an
he
actor.
was like in one TV show that's in the book as well. In the book, he's like in an army TV show, and that headshot's the one like when they went to the daughter a few episodes ago. She showed him that headshot and said,
"Oh yeah,
he doesn't look like that anymore," and he doesn't. Although it's obviously a headshot of the actual actor. And that's like
yeah, it is. It's
if
a
you're
younger
playing
shot
that
of-
role.
yeah.
He doesn't look like that. He actually doesn't look like that anymore. I mean, they make him look shit in this role, but like,
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So yeah, it is the proper actor by the look of it, but they must have got one of his younger headshots. So he identifies some of the people in the photo that they give him. He identifies someone that he recalls Stokes, who he refers to
Stokes,
as an older kid that Arthur looked up to. And then
Johnny, Jimmy.
Yeah, he can't
Stokes.
remember his name, but he says Stokes. He then they ask him. They start pressing him about why he never reported Arthur missing. He says he did report Arthur missing, but Harry and Edgar are not convinced, obviously. And basically, they sell him there's no record, don't they? That he didn't go to the police. There's no record of it, and they put pressure on
Like
him.
what division did you go to?
Yeah, and he
can't
says
really
the police didn't do anything. And then within about 2 seconds, he just collapses and folds under pressure. Not a lot of pressure. He breaks down and says, what did I do? What did I do? And then Bosch says, what did you do? And he says, I killed him. I killed my boy.
So did you find this convincing?
Not really, no. I don't know. Maybe.
I did.
Maybe.
I did.
Maybe.
I kind of did.
It was the way. He didn't take long to break down under questioning. So
But the way he
maybe.
did, I don't know if the actor's just good, like
Yeah, maybe,
actual
maybe.
actor.
Yeah, could be.
I kind of believe that.
Yeah, well, he says that's his. He confesses anyway. He says, "I killed him. I killed my boy." At which point,
And
they
now-
obviously have to take him in.
Right. This is a thing that. So in the book, it's pretty much the same thing, and there's like a 2-page thing where Bosch just freaks out because the thing is they haven't rendered him. So in the book, the thing is So this is all after like fucking the LAPD had all the problems with Rodney King and all of this, and Bosch is really worried because they just come in there. So in the book, not in the scene, but in the book, they just come in there to ask him questions, and the guy just confesses.
Yeah.
And Bosch is just like, fuck, we haven't rendered him. And in the book, Bosch has business cards, which have like his business card on one side and then the Miranda warning on the other side. So the thing in the US is obviously there was like a case, I think in the 80s or even before that, 70s, I don't know. The guy with the Miranda. So you have to advise a suspect of their rights. So you have to tell them everything what's that Miranda warning? I'm gonna look that up.
It's not called that in America though, is it? I thought it was called something.
No,
else.
it's called the Miranda warning. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like in Colombia.
The rights,
it comes
read
over.
them.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything
Anything
you say will be
in
used
evidence.
against you in a court of law. You have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you by the court with these rights in mind. Are you still willing to talk to me about the charges against you? So basically, you have to say you can get an attorney now, but you waive that right. And Bosch is really worried that they haven't done that. So this is why he says. We have to get him into the station.
Yeah, take him to the station. Yeah.
And this is where the fashion thing comes in.
Yeah. So he goes to take it. Yeah. So the thing I thought was interesting or quite funny actually was the guy, the dad who they're about to arrest.
Sam.
As they say, Sam. That's it. As they're going to take him to the station, he says, "What about Buddy?" At which point you don't know who Buddy is, and they go, "Who's Buddy?"
It's the cat.
And he says, "The cat." And then they're like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and then Bosch says, "I'll take care of Buddy, don't worry." And then they take him in. So they go. That's the end of that scene. And then next scene, we see that Waits
Great.
is in a tunnel, working on something in a tunnel.
Well, underground,
or it seems to be a tunnel. Yeah.
dripping water,
And he's listening to the radio, the news radio, where they're talking about him escaping.
so it can't be that deep underground.
Well, I thought that. It can't be that deep because he's got a normal radio with a normal aerial, and it appears to work. So who knows? But he's doing something anyway, underground.
it's the largest, what some people call the largest manhunt in the cities.
Yeah,
Turn it off.
yeah. Largest manhunt in the city. He turns it off. So that's only a very short scene. That you don't really see much in that. And then we get to back in the car. This is a good scene where Harry and Edgar are taking the father to the station when he throws up in the car.
They're talking about they really need to get him caffeinated, like they need to
That's
get
right,
coffee
yeah,
into him.
get coffee
because
in him,
he's been drinking in the morning.
Yeah.
And then Edgar's like, we really need to get like a breathalyzer on him because you can't get a confession when he's drunk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy's going, and that they pull over and he like pukes in the car. And this is amazing because Bosch is like Edgar is horrified. And Bosch is like, how great is this? And you figure out that they have this thing where like when somebody pukes in a squad car, they take turns to clean it up. And Bosch knows that they had like this case with the prostitute like last time on the Jello shots.
Yeah, he said, well, this is it. Yeah, so he throws up in the car, and Edgar's really pissed off because he doesn't want to have to clean it up, and he's like, "It's your turn." Bosch says it's your turn after last time with the
remember the prostitute
shoot with the Jello shots. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh no!" And then as he's getting him out of the car, he throws up again, almost onto his shoes. On his shoes.
He throws up in the car. Edgar's like, I'm not cleaning this up. I'm going to call Billets.
I'll call Billets and tell her that the car's been stolen or something.
It's just on fire or something. Meanwhile,
stolen.
Bosch just walks nonchalantly away from the car and goes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then you see Edgar gets Delacroix out of the car and he pukes on his shoes. New shoes.
Yeah,
with
on
the
his new
wingtips
shoes. Yeah,
in
but
New
he's
York,
just got
whatever.
the DeBoots New York or whatever the fuck they are, yeah. The ones that are made in Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's obviously not happy about that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then it's back to Irving's office.
And he says,
Oh, go
quote, fucking Bosch.
Oh, well, that Irv says that as well. Yeah.
No, yeah, but this is Edgar going.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody seems to say that, but
no, this is actually this is in Irv's office.
we cut to Irv's office, where he's
he's
guy,
busy or something.
This guy Washington, the one who drives him round, shows up and he's shown into the office, and he tells Irv that Bosch is the one who got his kid off the rap that he was in trouble for, and to which he goes, "Pull the car around!" And as soon as the guy walks out, he goes, "Fucking Bosch!"
Fucking Bosch.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
Edgar actually says in the scene before, he says, "Have pity, I have my new suit on," and then the guy buffs on his shoes.
That's right. Yeah.
Would you like to be like that guy who drives Irving around?
Not really. I mean, fucking hell,
it's
what
not
a
a
boring
good job, is it?
It's not a great job, no. But then again, mate, it's a job, I suppose. Yeah. So Irv's pissed off that he's found out that Bosch has got something to do with it. Bosch has got his kid off the thing.
Yeah, Bosch has gotten his kid off because that would compromise his case.
Yeah, basically.
But I don't think Irvin realizes at that point. He just thinks. I think we get to that later.
He thinks Bosch is trying to get leverage or something over him.
Yeah.
But also a thing he doesn't realize is that Mank is the one who asked him to do it anyway. It wasn't his idea.
And he doesn't realize Bosch is not a guy to get leverage on people.
No,
it's not Bosch's style.
No, he's not political. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So we get to the interview room. We cut to Harry and
dingy interview room in
the
LA
division, whatever, Hollywood division interview room, where they've got the drunk father, and they're interviewing him formally finally at the station.
And he's been Miranda. They said
whatever. And they're checking his timeline of events basically for what he says happened. And he says he went to an audition that didn't turn out very well. He didn't get the part. But he can't remember if he picked Arthur up from school or if he picked him up from somewhere else. But he's convinced that he picked him up. And then he keeps saying, "But I was half in the bag," which means he was half pissed.
Yeah, or I was sauced.
That's
his excuse for I can't. So Bosch keeps pressing him on the actual,
the
sequence
details,
of events, and he can't just.
But he keeps saying he was drunk, so he can't remember.
It's just something about the T-shirt, like the kid was...
Yeah, well, he was wearing a T-shirt that the guy, he told him to change, and then he says when he picked him up later, he realised he still had the same T-shirt on. And apparently that was enough for him to flip out, and he claims he hit his head on the car door, the kid.
Right.
And, and that must have been what killed him and all this sort of stuff. Oh, it says here, actually. So he keeps saying he was half in the bag, a.k.a. rat-arsed, which is a UK expression. But he says he was angry.
Which is technically what I'm right now, so yeah.
He says he was angry because he still had that damned black tee on. I lost it and I hit him. And then Edgar says, "Did you beat him every day?" And he says, he looks confused, and then he says, "Yeah, must have."
That's some really good acting, because Edgar says, so Edgar goes on like, you abused him, right? You hit him every day, and he's like really confused. He's like,
it's like he doesn't remember, yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah,
must
Of
have.
course, I hit him.
I must have, yeah." He says, "I must have."
Yeah.
And then he says they took him into the canyon, and Bosch is like, "Which canyon?" And he says he doesn't know.
Whatever, he rattles off like war.
Yeah, but you can see at that point that Bosch doesn't believe him, because he thinks he's like making this up or something, because he doesn't know any details.
Really nice though.
Yeah, but he doesn't know any details. He keeps saying, "Well, how can you not know any of these details?" And he says, "I buried my own son like an animal." I know more details
than him now, and I've just been there once.
Yeah, well, he says, "I buried my own son like an animal." And then they say, "Are you sure he was dead?" And he says, "Yeah, he was definitely dead." And they say that nobody helped him. Well, Bosch says, "Who helped you?" And he says, "Nobody helped me. It was just me.
I did it."
Which is important later that he claims.
I wrote down, and this is interesting about this case. Now they have 2 confessions.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So they're back in Lieutenant Billet's office talking about this interview, Bosch and Edgar and the lieutenant. And Bosch says he doesn't buy the story.
He's not having it. Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't have buried the body on his own, he says, because it was way too heavy. And
he's a drunk.
Yeah, and he's a drunk. And Edgar
alone.
really wants to believe it. This is a running theme, actually. Yeah. Every time someone confesses, Edgar's like, "That's it, case closed. That's some man. He's confessed.
He's
Can
like
we just
that
go
in the
home
book.
now?" And then
He's like that in the book as well.
is
But
he?
in the
Okay.
book, in the book he's more like. So in the early books, before like the real estate market crashed, he's like, I've got real estate business going on the weekend. Like I kind of have overtime. It's like somebody confessed. They did it.
yeah, he seems very quick to convince. So Edgar even says that he even offers to try and climb the hill with a dummy of the same weight and size to prove that it can be done, because he says he's about the same height and weight or whatever as the suspect.
Right.
And so he offers to do that because he's that keen to kind of get this done, it seems.
I think in the book, Bosch does that.
Oh, okay.
So I think in the book, Bosch just goes off the reservation and gets the dummy of the scientific division guys and does that on his own. It's so interesting that in the show, Edgar offers it and then later does it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, and so
so basically they're also saying like Bosch has the injury. I mean, we had this all the stuff with like the hippie anthropologist, and it's like clear somebody hit this kid with something like, you know, not with
that's right. So, Bosch says a car door wouldn't do it as well, doesn't he?
In the interview, he says I only hit him with his fist. And Bosch is like, no,
doesn't work.
He was hit with like stuff, you know, with like a bat or something, and it's not a car door. It's obviously somebody hit that kid.
He says it's not a car door, So next they go to see the sister, the dead boy's sister again, and to tell her that the dad confessed. That the dad confessed. She doesn't.
And she just goes.
She doesn't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
No.
She says
he wasn't a violent man. He never hit me. Or Arthur.
He never hit Arthur.
Never.
And she disputes what the mother's got to say. She doesn't like the mother, clearly.
Yeah, well, it's weird. So they say, well, we talked to your mother, and she said, she was punching back, and she says, she only says, you talked to my mother. But she obviously doesn't like believe her.
Yeah, she doesn't like. Yeah, you get the impression that she doesn't believe it. Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
And then Bosch goes, well, your dad confessed. Why would your father lie about something like that?
Yeah, why would he lie about it? Yeah.
And she just goes, I don't know.
She's unconvinced. So next scene.
Cut.
Yeah. Irving arrives.
Irving
at
at
house.
home.
Yeah, that's interesting. At home with the Irvings. He arrives home.
Does the kitchen look like Prince of Bel-Air?
A little bit. It's not as big. No, it's nowhere near as big. The Prince of Bel-Air, the kitchen was fucking huge. But in that one, it's not as big. But yeah, I know what you mean. So he arrives home to find Irving Jr., the son, there. And he doesn't look that pleased about it because he says, does your mother know that you're here? And,
Irving says that.
Yeah, says that to the kid. And he's like, yeah.
So what kind of a family thing? I mean, they're not divorced, right? But
no.
Does your mother know you're here? Like, what kind of thing?
Yeah.
What
he implies that he's stuck in and he's like eating his sandwiches and then he's eating the food out the fridge and then he's going to leave, which is possible. I mean, it doesn't mean they're not related.
But he's like the mom is preparing for like this
some event
ball or something
that you're going to.
Yeah.
So he says he then asks him about the traffic stop. Irving asked Junior about the traffic stop, and he says it would have put. This is what I like. He says it would have put serious beef in your package and jeopardized the case. Now I wrote down serious beef in your package is not a phrase that I've heard before, and then I put afterwards shots fired. That'll put serious beef in your package.
Package is the employment package.
I've heard the term beef to have beef with somebody, but I've never heard anyone say beef in your package.
The only other instance of me having heard the term beef in that context is like The Shield.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's a very like LAPD
LA
kind of
police
thing. Like it's in the book as well, in the Bosch books as well. It's like beef is just like having a.
No, but I've heard
complaint
that
or
you've had an
yeah.
argument if you have a beef with somebody. I've heard that in loads of places, but I've never heard anyone refer to it as beef in your package.
Your package. Oh, you mean packages in? I think he means your employment package. Right?
Well, I know he does, but it's just like it would have put serious beef in your package. I'm like, serious beef in your... Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That's putting a whole new aspect on Bosch's blue balls.
That's true, yeah.
He's got beef in his package.
Yeah, Irving Jr. doesn't take it very seriously.
He's very smug, right?
He is very smug, yeah.
He's like in his dad's kitchen, and he's like smug as hell, and dad's like not having it.
No, he's not happy. So, anyway, he's not taking it very seriously,
So
Jr.
basically, Irvin says, so the thing is, he tells him about the complaint, and then Junior's like, well, thank you. It's like, I didn't do anything. Just like somebody did something, and then basically saying there's certain people
I don't want to be indebted to.
Indebted to, yeah. So that's Bosch, right? So he's pissed off that Bosch, Bosch did it for its case, right? So he
Bosch
pulled
does,
Junior
but
out of
Irving
that
still thinks he's going to
predicament.
use it as like, I got your kid off that thing, and you need to help me or whatever.
So Irvin actually thinks Bosch did that, so Irving's indebted to him.
Maybe, and he just does. He basically doesn't want to. I put down he doesn't want to owe Bosch a favor.
Yeah, but so he doesn't understand Bosch. That's
No, well, he
not how
clearly
Bosch
doesn't understand
operates
Bosch, no.
at all.
No,
Yeah.
that's very true. So next scene, I wrote down. This is something I heard earlier. I wrote down Bosch visits Brasher for a dick appointment, which is a new term I've just heard. It's not a very nice term. I was watching some comedy thing, and this guy was talking about dick appointment, which is apparently a term that young people use nowadays. I've booked you in for like a dick appointment.
Is that like millennials?
Yeah, apparently. So,
So,
this dude
young
was saying,
people.
the youngsters. It says, I put down Brasher, Bosch visits Brasher for dick appointment, and then in brackets I put, I've just learned this term, it's my new favourite thing, in the notes.
I mean, this is seriously that kind of shit, because this is the scene last episode I thought was going
It's the
on,
one that
because
you
this
thought,
is like
yeah.
this is like Bosch. So Brasher lives in like Venice,
That's
in
right,
LA, which is like this. The man looks like Venice. And he basically turns up at the door, and there's cut, and the next scene is like them.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Like
that is the
sweat
one,
drenched in bed.
yeah. So that's what I put down, yeah.
Pretty much a dick appointment.
Pretty much. And he says, so I put down pillow talk. Bit of pillow talk as Harry says he's going to see his daughter in Vegas for the holidays.
So I think Brasher is really considerate. Like, so if you were like with this guy, right, and you're just screwing him, and he's like going on about his ex and his daughter, like right afterwards.
Yeah,
It's
although
been awkward.
no, to be fair, he says he's going. I'd have to watch the scene again now because I can't remember the exact run of it. But I think
will.
he says he's going to see his daughter, which is fine. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. But then she starts to ask questions about the daughter's, about
Yeah.
the mother. So I think it's her
Yeah,
who kind of pushes it a bit rather than
It
him.
is, but it's like him.
Also,
It's like-
Also, I put down that she says to him, "You like ballsy women?" ? And then Bosch says, "Ballsy is my type."
And then she says that's pretty much established at this point. You're right, but it's like, no,
I know what you mean,
question
yeah, it's
like
not- maybe
his
not the
thing.
moment
It's
to
like,
bring it up.
You're not bringing up your daughter.
No,
right
but he just says,
after
"I'm going
her.
away to visit my daughter," and then she asks all the questions.
But not right afterwards. Like, what the? I mean, she's game, but like, what the fuck, Bosch?
Well, whenever, as I've said in previous episodes, whatever Bosch says, it seems to work because she then says, "Hope you have a great trip. I'll be here when you get back."
Yeah,
And he's like,
in a very,
"You know it, baby," as he
in a-
walks out.
in a-
Like,
she doesn't just say that. She says that in a very sultry voice. She's. I mean, he's. Yeah, you're right. It just works. But she's just like. I wrote down. It's just like I just wrote down. Brasher's cute. Like in that scene,
he's got a real thing. She is cute. I agree, but yeah,
she is like.
you seem
she's
very
got
hung
the
up on this.
She's got the freckles going on. She's like, she's She's got it down.
Yeah,
It's good. Yeah.
You like a salty boot.
I like my boots salty.
He says I like my boots salty or something, doesn't he? I can't remember what he says.
That's my line.
Yeah. So that's kind of all we need to know
The
about that
saltier,
one.
the better. No, he's
Does
like
he say
about,
the saltier the better? He says something.
No,
like that. Yeah.
he's about it's all about the strong. It's just, they
Ballsy
talk about,
women. Yeah, he says I like ballsy women. Yeah.
I mean, this is a very it's understandable. She asked him about his ex.
Yeah.
And then she goes about like, okay, she used to be in the FBI, which is ballsy, and now she's a professional poker player. And then she moved to Hong Kong with his daughter, and now she's back in Vegas. Basically, it turns out she works in Vegas as a professional poker player because high rollers from Hong Kong like to play against like good-looking Caucasian women.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Who knew, eh?" And he's like, "I didn't."
Yeah. It's true. It's
And
very true.
being in Vegas, they're kind of crazy. I completely believe it.
Yeah, and she's become like professional poker player basically. But she even asks about. So she really presses it. She asks him about the new husband, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know much about him." And then she really is getting as much information as she can.
Well,
so anyway,
I think that's realistic.
Yeah, probably.
In my experience, that is how flame me in the comments, feedback at sixgun.org. But I think that's how a woman in this situation would react.
Yeah,
I think it's realistic.
All right, and let's move on a bit because I've just realised the time, and I'm trying to keep us to roughly around, just over an hour.
You are the drill sergeant.
We haven't
of
got
the
much.
show.
Yeah, basically, yeah. We haven't. I'm like Irv. I'll just pull up in the car and slowly wind the window down and go.
This
like,
is
have you
your
seen
dad's
the time?
watch he kept in his
Have
ass.
you seen the time?
What's the rate?
Yeah. So next scene is Edgar is doing what he said he would do, and he's trying to climb the hill with the dummy thing weighted on his back, and he's not having much fun. He's not having much fun. He keeps falling over and dropping it, and it's too heavy and all the rest of it. And then he rings Bosch and says,
"It's good cinematography as well.
It is good.
He's like actually failing."
Yeah, he says he rings Bosch and says, "If you say I told you so, I will drop you right there, right where you stand, the next time I see you." And then he admits that the old man couldn't have carried the kid up on his own, which is quite significant, obviously.
And Bosch says, "I told you so."
Yeah.
And Edgar says, "You're a dead man, Bosch."
Yeah. So then we cut back to Waits again, creepy Waits, and his mother. He's trying to help her find. Well, is he really? He's supposedly trying to help her find her glasses, which she can't find.
And he's like, "I can't find the fucking glasses."
Yeah, and then
David, language.
She can't see the TV, which he is. And I put down. He is deliberately stopping her from seeing the television in detail because
like,
she'll see him
he's
on
TV.
Thing.
Yeah.
And,
so basically, the thing is, his name is David, and on the TV they keep saying, "Well, serial killer rated Waits."
And she even says she's scared, doesn't she? She says, like, "I'm scared," and he says, "There's nothing to worry about." Or something.
He says, "That man's a menace, David."
That's right,
and
that man's a menace.
Like, blah, blah, he's got nothing to worry about, and, And then she goes like, "What was he thinking when he murdered that little boy all those years ago?" And says, "I don't know. Some things just can't be explained,
Yeah.
But he seems nervous at some point, and then he just goes.
He does. He leaves. Yeah. And then we see Harry in a 7-Eleven or whatever.
And I've been there. It looks exactly like that.
So he's basically gone in to buy smokes, as far as we can tell, and he sees that the girl next to him or behind him in the queue is buying cat food, and then he goes, "Shit!"
Seriously, he just looks at her because she's hot.
Yeah. But then he realizes that she's got
her
cat
out,
food.
and he looks at the cat food and he's like, "Shit!"
And he realizes he's forgotten about Buddy, the cat.
Yeah.
So he goes back to.
I like that
trailer.
you remember Buddy's name.
Buddy's ace. So he goes back to. I think Buddy's the real hero of this story. So anyway, he goes back to the trailer basically to get the cat. And while he's outside, he pulls up outside. He hears noises coming from inside the trailer.
No, first, there's a car. He notices the car, and then he sees noise.
Well, he hears noises as well inside, and then he pulls his gun out.
Pulls his gun.
Yeah. and he goes in to see what's going on, and he finds Sheila, who's the daughter, the sister of the murdered boy.
Sheila?
Yeah, and she says she came to find the cat as well, but you can see he's a bit suspicious about that. So she takes the cat. She says, "Can I take the cat?" And she does, and gets in the car and goes.
Yep.
She leaves, and then Harry continues to search the trailer.
Well, basically, he's like, she was looking for something, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, so he's suspicious, so he looks through the trailer, and he goes through the drawers and some other places, and he finds an envelope underneath.
Well, he finds a locked drawer.
Yeah.
Pulls his knife out, and in the books he always has like this pen knife. And so he opens the drawer, and there's like, was it wallpaper on the bottom of the drawer? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so he opens he finds the drawer. He opens the drawer, sorry, and he finds an envelope under the kind of piece of paper at the bottom of the drawer.
With
and when he opens
Polaroids.
and when he opens it, it's got pictures in it of what looks like a young Sheila. Probably underage Sheila.
Yeah,
having sex with men, presumably somebody.
I looked at this several times today because I want to see how they pulled it off, and
it does look like her. It looks like a young version of the actress.
I don't. She is very well done. So it's Sheila basically having intimate relations with the dad.
Which adds to the plot, I suppose. And then we have a cut to the final scene, which is Waits, creepy Waits as I call him, doing his makeup again, and his phone keeps going, and it says "Ma"
with
on it.
What was it again? The cover up
concealer, they call it.
Concealer.
Yeah. Yeah, don't question me on makeup.
Yeah. Okay.
It's either concealer or foundation, but it looks more like concealer to me. In my relatively limited knowledge of makeup, you see, anybody who actually knows would probably tell me how wrong I am. But it looks. I think they call it concealer, because it's for concealing, like blemishes and things.
Like fucking.
I'm the Edgar of this situation, of
Broke
this relationship.
noses.
I know about makeup,
obviously.
and I don't know much about clothes, actually, if I'm honest. But I know a bit about that sort of stuff.
I think I'm the close of in the relationship.
I'm wearing concealer right now. You just can't tell because it's because I'm actually wearing full clown face makeup. No, I'm not. Anyway, I'm not really.
This is worrying.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, clowns are fucking weird. Anyway, so Waits is doing the makeup thing again, concealing the thing, and he's ignoring the phone, which is his mother. It keeps saying "Ma," and he's just ignoring it. And then he goes out in his car, and it says, "I put down he appears to be cruising. He appears to be out cruising for boys again in his new stolen ride."
So it's a new car, right?
So he pulls. He finds someone he likes. Go on. Are you going to say something else?
No, it's going to say. So he pulls up next to this hooker, male hooker, who is actually quite good looking. And picks him up.
Well, he just says, "Do you need a lift? Do you need a lift?" And the guy says, "I might." And he says, "Well, hop in." I think
that's code, yeah.
Oh yeah. And he says, "Hop in," and then the guy starts to. The guy starts to feel the beef in his package, and
he does, yeah.
He does. He feels how much beef he's got in his package, and then and then I put down the guy feels his package. It has serious beef. So that happens, and then Waits says. So basically the guy says, we could do it right here or whatever. And Waits says to him, "I was thinking about something a little more intimate. Maybe you could stay the night,
right?
Yeah, spend the night, stay the night, and then
they go to a really classy motel.
Yeah, go on.
This is really interestingly shot because basically Waits watches the TV with like his manhunt being on TV.
He does,
and then
he switches it off when the other guy before the other guy walks in the room because he doesn't want him to see it.
I think he's coming from the shower or something.
Yeah. He doesn't see it. He switches the TV off, and then the other guy comes in and doesn't see what's on the TV, which is good for him because it's his own face, and that'd give the game away.
It's kind of like his ma seeing,
Yeah, like his mother seeing it. Yeah. So,
but then the guy says, "Turn the TV on again."
He says, I want to check up on the weekend weather." He said, "I want to see about the weekend weather or something." He says to me.
It's LA. It's gonna be sun or smog or wildfires.
But then he does switch the TV back on. And
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but the story's already stopped or changed or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I put down, and this is interesting, I put down, he starts to get a bit rough with the guy who thinks it's a sex game. And it's,
the guy first, touches him, and you can see that Waits is, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't really look happy about it,
Yeah.
So he starts to kind of grab the guy and grab him, throw him onto the bed, but in a kind of a way that suggests it might just be a sexual thing. And then
puts him in a classic chokehold.
Yeah, and then he strangles him. But the weird thing is, as he's strangling him on the TV, you see Waits again, which is weird.
Yeah.
He says he sees a news report about Waits on the TV as he's killing the guy. And I put down, he seems to get off on killing the guy while watching himself on TV.
Yeah.
He's fucking weird. Is what I wrote.
He is fucking weird. So he strangles the guy, and then there's this thing where he breaks his neck or something. Mm-hmm. You hear this crunch, and
he kills him. Yeah, he definitely kills him.
Yeah, and then Waits seems to feel really serene.
Yeah, he has a kind of satisfied look on his face. Yeah.
And he falls asleep, I guess.
Mm. And that's credits, pretty much.
Roll the credits.
Roll credits.
We're really good in time this time. It's not like last episode where I was going on about driving around Mulholland Drive.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to have a bit of background.
The thing is, when Waits picks up that guy, right? Mm-hmm. So the guy seems to think that Waits is really hot as well.
He tells him that. He says, "You're cute" or something. Yeah.
And he kind of is as well. It's just weird. He has this thing. He has this.
You got a thing about killers. You want to watch out. You got a thing about dodgy serial killers.
He has this thing going on, but I definitely got a thing about salty
and serial killers.
Yeah, but not the serial killer. But didn't you So he's got this thing going on, but it's this weird thing. Why doesn't he pick up gay prostitutes, but feels really weird when there's gay sex involved? It doesn't really. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's whatever it is. It's So that's how it ends with that kind of quite nasty scene, actually, in a way. And you get to see how really fucked up Waits is. I mean, we didn't know that already, but it really shows you how fucked up he is.
Well, I think what we learned from this episode regarding to Waits is that's our final thing that you've established. Is I think he feels extra weird because he's kind of nice to his mom.
That's a big thing that Well, I don't know if this is. I mean, I don't know much about actuals killers and serial killers and stuff, but that's a big thing that runs through a lot of dramas. Obviously, Psycho, everyone would think of with Norman Bates and Mother and all that business. There seems to be a big thing about and the episode's even titled Mama's Boy, so they really push that as a kind of a type, don't they, of a type of killer who's kind of I don't know, got this weird thing about his mother and looking after his mother, but also is quite kind of nasty and brutal and stuff as well. It seems to be quite a common thing. We definitely learnt that. We learnt that. What else did we learn? We learnt that. Where are we now? I'm scrolling back up. We learnt that. Irving Jr. doesn't want beef in his package. We learnt that.
Bosch is quite okay with beef.
In the package, yeah, apparently, and so is Waits as well. Oh, he's not okay with it, but he kind of happens. The father, we learnt the big thing that we learnt from this one is that even though the father's confessed, it doesn't really stand up when they test the fact whether he could have carried the body or not. It doesn't really make sense when Edgar tests it. So then we need to know, why is he kind of doing that? Why would he do that? Why would he make a false confession? There's something weird going on with the daughter as well, because you find the weird pictures, and then she's immediately doesn't believe that he killed.
She's rummaging around in the.
Well, she's looking for the pictures,
weird,
and also
obviously
she immediately is really quick to kind of deny that the father did it, even though he admitted it. So she knows more than she's letting on. I would guess.
I found I felt kind of a kinship to Irvin Jr. in this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
He seems like a bit of a dick to me. to be honest.
No. I mean, like, I grew up in a place where my dad was kind of like you know, he's not like the chief of police, but he was like kind of known he was like in politics and whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm kind of happy that I'm not in a place I grew up in.
Oh yeah.
Because
Small
people
town.
would like recognize my last name.
Yeah.
So that whole thing where he says like, I don't want it, like, even if I don't do anything, if somebody else does something, it'll seem like I pulled strings.
He's right, yeah.
I know that. So I know, like, my dad was like in the city administration thing, and in school we had this thing where you would like have like an internship like for a week at some place, and my dad was like, I'll put you in anywhere but like where I'm working, because people will know that you know I pulled strings for you and stuff like that. So I kind of feel with what Irving's going through there. The funny thing there is, like, Irving thinks that Bosch did it, so he knows him he owes him a favor. And if you know Bosch, that's not like how he thinks. He's not like in politics at all. He just did that so his case wouldn't be fucked up.
Yeah. Well, he also did it because he was asked to.
Really clever.
So he didn't even. It wasn't even his idea.
I don't think he did it because Mank asked him to. I think he did it because his case would have been fucked up. I think
true.
for Bosch, it's all about the case.
That's true. Yeah.
I found that really interesting. The whole thing with the dad is just yeah,
it's a bit odd. It's it's more than a bit odd, but you know, we'll find out in the presumably next few episodes. So that's episode 5. That was episode 5 of Bosch, series 1. What do we need to do? We need to send us Flame Fab, apparently, for his opinions. By sending stuff to feedback.
Why
at
me?
6gun.
Flame
well, you said
you
flame me. You said earlier on, flame me for my opinion on this. So
I think people should flame you for opinion on
my knowledge of
makeup
makeup and other things.
Yeah. So feedback at 6gun.org will get it.
Or the Discord thing, and it's 6gun.org/ho/ho. Ho, yeah. 6gun.org/ho if you
pork
want
and beans.
Pork
6gun.org/pork beans.
Oh yeah.
Been dining with king queens and eating pork and beans.
Yeah, that's So send us stuff there. What else is there to say? I don't know really.
We have a Twitter account.
Twitter,
Outlaws. I'm also Foxtrot Alpha Bravo Sierra Hotel, and your Method
Dan, yeah. 2 words stuck together. Method.
2 D's.
Yeah, Method and Dan. 2 words stuck together. Like Method Man, but with Method Dan instead. That's where it comes from. Yeah, it's just one letter different from Method Man, isn't it? It's just like a D instead of an M, and when it says man. So find us there. And I think that's about it, isn't it, for now, for this episode?
Yeah. Bite Mark is incredibly
thank you to Bite Mark,
generous for sponsoring this shit, and we thank the Bourbon Boys for the intro.
For the amazing song. Yeah, that's it. So thanks to all those people, and we'll catch you next time.
And I've got this bottle of Jim Beam almost finished, so I'm code 7.